Maybe Mark, hand over to you first in terms of any sort of thoughts on this market before we get Adrian's outright pick.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season, League Two. I think it's got the potential to be the best of all four divisions in terms of entertainment, and that's not just because of Wrexham and the Hollywood influence. Far from it, actually. I think you've got 7 or 8 teams here who, in terms of budget and in terms of playing ability, slot them into League One and they'd be challenging for the top 6, or at least the top half at the very least. I think the standard of League Two is as good as I've ever known it. Wrexham, of course, probably building a League One side when they're in the National League, so understandably so, they're going off at very short prices. But Paul Mullin out for the start of the season, sort of 46 cup finals. Everyone want to play Wrexham and beat them as well, so that puts me off them. I think they're too short a price to consider, especially so when you look back to last season when they played Notts County in that big game, 3 games before the end of the season, winner takes all for the title. Wrexham went off at 6-4, 2.5 at home at the Racecourse Ground. If you look at that price, that's effectively saying the market is saying Notts County were the better team on a neutral venue than Wrexham. They're the higher rated team, with Wrexham going off at that price. Yet they're about twice the price of Wrexham in these markets. Doesn't really add up to me. I know Notts County have lost a key player in Rodriguez, but they've signed some phenomenal players. McGoldrick from Derby, who was incredible in League One last season. Dan Crowley as well. They've kept McCoy Langstaff as well. Luke Williams, a very impressive young coach, implementing a fantastic style. Fully expect Notts County to challenge. I'd rather them than Wrexham, but the second selection I would have in terms of promotion or top 3 or both really would be Adrian's selection. So I won't sort of make a play there. That's my opinion really. But I think the top 7, top 8 really in the market is a decent degree better than the rest. And I think they're more than good enough to be in League One actually. So it has to be, it's going to be an incredibly competitive season this time around. And I just think Wrexham are artificially too short because of the interest around them.
Okay, Adrian, over to you.
Yeah, no, agree with everything Mark said there. Notts County for sure being underrated. I think they're, every bit as good as Wrexham, who are definitely, too short. The price. My pick was Stockport County. They should have gone up last season. They were the best team in League Two from Christmas onwards. It was only a really rough start to the campaign that cost them. In the end, they went pretty close. They weren't too many points away from automatic promotion. They just had an unbelievable run. Then in the playoffs, injuries crippled them at the worst possible time, and it proved to be a real problem. They're super solid under Dave Challoner. They conceded 37 goals in 46 league games last season, less than a goal a game. Brought in Nick Powell, obviously he's come down a couple of divisions to join them. He's not the only player that they brought in. Louis Barry's come in from Villa. Finally might be his time to shine, a player of real promise, of course. So, yeah, I think Wrexham and Notts County will be really strong with a couple of teams as well. But for me, Stockport's experience in League Two, the pain of missing out on promotion when they really were better than some of the teams that went up, I think will be fuel for them. And I don't expect them to make a mistake this time around. I think they'll go up. And to be champions, they're priced at 6.0, which is fine.
Okay,
they were favourites last season, weren't they, after winning promotion? And they made that slow start. The first 10 games were pretty slow as they kind of got used to playing in the league football again. But over the last 36 games of the season, if you just take those results, Stockport would have been 8 points clear of anyone else in that division, which kind of goes to show the quality that they have at their disposal and how good they can be.
Okay, we're all set for a highly competitive League Two. We're done with all the selections. Before we move on to long shots and best bets, do check out all these outright markets on the Matchbook Betting Exchange. The best thing about using the exchange versus your regular sportsbooks, you can lay off some of your stake. Perhaps if you have one of these, maybe even these long shots at decent prices. It is a long season. If you do want to lay some of your stake back, you can get out of your bet and then keep the rest and cheer it on. So best outright long shot. We'll start with you,